Friends, it's Diane, the Creative Inkster, and today is Monday, April the 10th. We are up at 7 o'clock Eastern Time and ready for our creative escape. I wanted to show some cards and how to use just about any flower in your collection to be spotlit and highlighted on the cards. So here is my take on that. This one here was made with Daffodil Daydream, which is a stamp set / bundle. I don't think it's still a bundle now, but a stamp set that is retiring at the end of the month. And so I want to play with it one more time. And the other thing I wanted to share with you was how this beautiful Flora paper called Fancy Flora, it's here, page 86 in the mini catalog that's ending the end of April. This one here. How the paper on both sides works so nicely with the same card. And so that's what we're gonna play with tonight. And with the card tonight, I am going to use Shaded Summer. This is one I haven't used enough, and I really love the fonts here in the greetings. Hi, Vicki. So this is the flower I'm going to use here. And I pulled a couple others from my stash and thought, well, hand-penned petal, that would work. Either one of these flowers. They have dies as well. And Hydrangea Haven. The hydrangea would work equally as well. So anything where you can hand cut the large flower or spray out, or where you have a die, even better. So thanks for popping in here and joining me tonight. And if you're here live, let me know in the comments, as Vicki has already done. And if you're watching the replay, give me that kind of notification too. I'm going to pull out the card pieces for the two cards. So I think the star of the show is this Fancy Flora paper. So let's pull that in. And we need a piece that's 3 by 4 1/4. So this is 6 by 6. And the back is all sort of a wash or a painted texture, it really looks like, of petal pink. I'm going to actually on this card use both cards. Are going to use this front side because I like it a lot. But on my samples, one was from the front and one was from the back. So lots of choices. So we need to cut that down. And our card base is going to be 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4 in the middle and folded. So that's our standard card base. I'm finding that I'm doing more card bases this way than the long flip up way. Hi, Brenda. I'm just finding this is way more versatile because I can go this way or I can flip it up this way. So it gives me some versatility that way. So that's Calypso Coral for your standard card base. And then here's the piece of 4 by 5 1/4. And I've already embossed it. Here's another product that I didn't use to its fullest, but it's on sale for $38.40, which seems like a lot of money, but let me show you what you get with this. It's called a hybrid embossing folder. So there's this embossing folder here with a die that goes with. So it's, like I said, it's on sale right now. And this, you will emboss your paper and then you can lay this die right over top and you're cutting out all those embossed pieces. So here is the piece that I embossed on white. Then if I wanted to cut them all out, I would just take this over. Now I just want to make sure I've got the right orientation here. There we go. So I probably wouldn't have cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4 so that I could get more of the actual flowers. But because I'm just sticking it on here as a layer, it's already pre-cut. But you get the idea. So then you would be able to die cut it out. So it's kind of a unique product. We have two others in our three in the upcoming catalog that are hybrids. And it's kind of a neat idea. And it's just something I haven't used quite enough. So it's going to appear on both of my cards tonight. Alrighty. So that's my 4 by 5 1/4. If you don't have embossing, just leave it white. Use another color, whatever you like. And then we're going to need a couple of other pieces here for these two bits. First of all, I've got this piece of white scrap, and it's just like 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. It's just to do my stamping on. So set that aside. Once we cut the DSP down to what we need, we've got a piece here for a mat that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And we have another mat that's 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. Is that like a smaller version of the mat? Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at it. Yeah, I think I misread this. It's 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. So it's going to have a tight border around it. And then these two pieces here. So refer to the post that had all of the specific measurements. And let's get this cut down. So we want this to be 3 by 4 1/4. So let me show you a quick tip for when I'm cutting these. First of all, when I'm taking a piece and I'm cutting it out of a 6 by 6 or a 12 by 12, I look at the pattern and I say to myself, what's on the back? Is it going to have a stripe or something that I want to have the cutoff piece go in a particular orientation? And then on the front, how much of the pattern colors do I want showing? So that's not really a concern here. I can cut this off. So it's 6 by 6. I'm going to cut off at 4 1/4. I'm going to measure down to 4 1/4 here, cut the rest off. Then I can use that for another card. So take that cast off. And now we've got something that is 6 by 4 1/4, and I just need to cut it in half at 3 inches. Now I have a piece for each card. Okay, well, there we go. That's the easy part. Let's pull our pieces back in. I'm going to get my flower done before I do my stamping on here. And then I have an idea of where it's going to land. That's what I did with this one. So I had a sense of where to place the greeting. So here is the Shaded Summer Big Flower. And I've already die cut one, so I don't have to jump over to the die cutting machine. But I wanted to show you a tip for adding black ink. So Memento is the ink you want when you're coloring with Stampin' Blends. This ink is water-based and the blends are alcohol-based. So it works best to marry them up together. Now with this ink pad, you'll notice it's a little different than our typical ones. It's more of a fabric base. And if you just go along like this to add your ink, you are going to find that it's almost pulling ink off as you're adding ink. Kind of counterintuitive. So we do the twist method. So you go on to your image, and with words it's totally a different story. You can simply use it as a regular ink pad, but when you're doing these images and you want lots of coverage, you want to do that little twist action. So just re-moisten it here a little bit, and then I'm going to place it down on my card scrap, and then I've got my stamped image, which I could hand cut out, or I happen to have the dies. This had dies during Celebration a year or two ago, and so I have the dies for that, but I don't think you can buy them right now. That's okay, I could hand cut it out too. So here is my flower, and I'm going to do a little bit of coloring. I don't want to muck up my paper, so I'm going to grab some scrap copy paper, because when you're coloring with the Stampin' Blends, the ink will come through. It's just how thick and wonderful they are. So the colors I chose to go with this, I chose out of the pattern paper. The pattern paper has some Pool Party, Calypso Coral, and so I've got those two colors. That's what I'm going with. And then I think this is Soft Suede. So anyhow, I picked those two bright, vibrant colors to go with here. So let's get coloring. So I know the leaves seem a little bit weird to be doing them in Pool Party. I get that. Not really the light green that I maybe would use, like Old Olive or Granny Apple Green. So I notice when I have two sets, or when I have a set of Stampin' Blends, I actually have 4 colors, because the bullet end is a little bit lighter than the brush end. So I'm just going to go back over these, and I'm getting a much fuller color. I apologize, I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Hoping nothing's coming on. I'm keeping my fingers crossed and not thinking, just thinking good thoughts. I'm not catching anything. All right, so going over it with the brush end made it a lot darker, but not as dark as, say, if I was using the dark of the blend. So really, your marker 2 set is actually 4 colors. So let's take a look at that. So this is the brush end of the light and the bullet end of the light. And then this is the dark Pool Party. That's the bullet end. Yeah, sometimes the little bit of alcohol will slip out. And then that's the brush end. Almost a bit like Calypso Coral. So you end up with your 2 markers, actually gives you 4 colors. Great variety, right? Awesome. Okay, yes, thank you, Brenda. So I'm going to do the same thing using 2 colors here with my Calypso Coral. Now this is a darker color. So I just want to kind of see. Yeah, I want this to kind of be light. I don't want this to be too dark. But I'm going to add some shading. And if you're just joining me now, remember when you're coloring with your Stampin' Blends that you want to use Memento, Tuxedo Black Memento ink as your base to do the stamping because it's water-based and your Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based. And that just keeps them from running together and making a real mess. So that's the light using the bullet end. And it makes a little squeaky noise. You know, you can do a lot with these blends. People say, oh, they're super expensive, but there's lots you can do. There's coloring, if you like to color. You can color ribbon. You can color paper. Yes, I said you can color ribbon. So just grab any white, typically, or white-based or vanilla-based ribbon, and you can color it, and then that adds a whole bunch of new ribbon colors for you to play with, to customize to your project. All right, so I went over that twice with the light, and now I'm going to take the bullet end of the dark, and I'm going to try to just add a little bit of shading, and typically you should be doing this while it's still wet, because it does take a few seconds to dry. Not that it's going to smear, but that it's just still a little bit more receptive to adding extra color. So I'm just going around, like Stampin' Up stamps already have all the shading bits, so I'm just going over those dark pieces in there and adding the extra color, and it will kind of fade and blend in nicely, as denotes the name, Stampin' Blends. There we go. And that gives it a nice little bit of a two-tone look. Ooh, I like that. Turned out nice. So for the other one, oh, I'm going to have to go and cut the other one. Okay. All right. Now we're ready to start putting stuff together. Let's start with the card base and the white. And typically I would probably put a white on the inside as well. Just because Calypso Coral is still a bit of a dark color in my mind if I was writing some cards. And I write a whole bunch a month, so it gives me a chance to use these. Now, when you're placing this die down, just make sure you're getting the leaves going in the direction you're looking for. Now, maybe you want them all facing down, and maybe you're okay, pardon me, with them going in different directions. But I kind of had an idea that certain ones I wanted floating up. All right. Get our 3x4 piece of pattern paper, and we're going to put that on its small border of 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. I know we don't want to cover up all that pretty embossing, but it's the layered look we're going for. So this, I think, is such a simple layout, and it gives you a chance to use up some of your patterned paper, because I know you're hoarding it just like me. That's what we do, right? And then this piece is going to go on here. This is going to layer like this, and then that piece is going to go on there. So let's get some dimensionals into the mix, and we will pop this up. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so this fancy flora paper is really quite amazing. I mean, you could put it on your card this way or this, like you could put it any way. It really has no up or down. It's like a painter's palette wash. And I'm kind of centering this top to bottom. Okay, and leaving a nice little border on this side. Now, I'm going to take a look at when I lay this on. I'm going for having space down here for my greeting. And I was going to use Happy. Now, I was going to use the dark soft suede, but I think I'm going to go with Pool Party now. So grab that ink pad, good thing. And I'm going to make a happy birthday card here. There it is. And I'm just going to take a peek that it's going to fit on there nicely. Sweet. All right. And we'll ink it up, and we'll do a quick test run. There we go. I re-inked a bunch of my ink pads this weekend because you'll find as you start to use them that they start to dry. And you need to add a little ink to them. I've done a video on how to re-ink, but I'm happy to show that again sometime in the future. All right, so then to put this flower on, see how the blends show through on the back of white? So blend's not the best thing to put when you're stamping the outside or coloring the outside of your envelopes if you like to do that. Pardon me. It's probably best not to do that because it's going to bleed through, but you do you. Here we go. Just putting a bunch of dimensionals here and there. And then I want a really thin one down there on the stem so it doesn't go wibble wobbly for me. It's a technical term, you know, wibble wobbly. Okay, so I'm just going to cut a little piece off there. I'm just going to stick this on here. Here we go. And we'll peel the backs off. Probably should have glued that on first. That's a-okay. It'll all get put together quite nicely. There we go. These are pretty colors together. Holy moly. I did not envision how pretty this was going to turn out. So now we're going to add a little liquid glue to the back. And then this will land on its mat and then be popped up on the card. And I want to show you a little trick for that too. So when you pop up something and lay another greeting or piece beside it, if you pop up on dimensionals this as well, and you put 4 dimensionals on the back, it's going to be higher on one side because this piece is already popped up. So what we're going to do is liquid glue the left and only put the dimensionals on the right. And so that I can make sure it lands where I want the dimensionals to, I'm actually going to put the dimensionals along here. So where are they? Here they are. So I'm going to put, I have to have a kind of a sense of how wide it is, or sorry, how tall it is. I'm going to slip that guy in there and right up against the other one that's already there. And then this way I won't have to worry about it hanging out the end. All right, and then we'll slide a little bit of liquid glue onto this side, the left side, which when I flip it over is actually the right side, to help it stick down. So then it'll be flat on that side and push onto the dimensionals on the right. And there we have it. So we can add any embellishments that we want to it too, but isn't that pretty? I just think that turned out so lovely. All right, there's card number 1. Going to do the same thing with this one, but with a little bit different colors. So I grabbed the soft suede, which I'm very sad about having it retire. That's sad. Sad news. It's been a color I've loved, but I got my new colors in the mail, by shipment on Thursday in time for the weekend. And I got to play with new stuff. It was all very exciting. So if you see what I'm doing here and you're wondering what this is about, stay tuned. You'll have to check out my videos that are coming out for Inspiration Tuesday and Friday, starting tomorrow on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. I have some tips or craft room hacks, other things you need. Thanks, Vicki. That you need to have in your craft room that are not specifically Stampin' Up, or they're just things you find in the hardware store, in the grocery store, at the dollar store. So lots of extra things that you need to keep in your stamp room for cleanup and not so much organizational, but more about cleanup and fix up. So check those out. There are a total of 6 very short videos starting tomorrow at noon on Tuesdays and Fridays with some craft room hacks. So I hope you like them as much as I enjoyed doing them. Okay, so there's our pretty twigs and sprigs embossing folder on there. We'll layer up the pattern paper. See, it goes equally nice with this other color. Okay, come on. There we go. Let's go liquid glue. Keep up with me here. Keep up with me. Okay, and if you remember, we popped this up with some dimensionals. But there, out of a 6-inch piece, we've got at least these 2 cards plus a, what was it, 4 1/4, so 1 3/4 by 6-inch piece left over to do something else with. That would make a really nice layer on a card that goes in this orientation. And you've got 3 cards out of 1 piece of 6 by 6. Fabulous value, I think. This way. I would say that's a good value any day of the week. All right, so soft suede. Let's get another birthday card going here because I'm getting low on birthday cards, which means I'm sending a lot out, and that's great. Put this one down here. There we go. We're done with this. This will go nicely together. Now I had that other stamped one already, pre-stamped one. Where did it disappear to? Here it is. Here it is. I'm not going to let this one get too far away from me. Okay, and let's do some coloring. And this is going to get layered. This can get layered now, actually. I'm trying to be conscious of the time. I don't like long videos. Baby wipes. Yes, baby wipes are very handy for lots of different things. That isn't one of the things that I highlighted, though, interestingly enough. Okay, so then this is going to have, remember, a couple of dimensionals just at the right here so that this gets lined up nicely. Okay, so that's primed and ready to go. That's ready to go. We just need to do our coloring. Go. So pretty. I've liked this Shaded Summer card stamp set for both the greetings, as I mentioned earlier, but also this beautiful spray, which at first I wasn't sure because it's rather dark with the full-on image part here, but I think it works really, really well with coloring it with the bold blends. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, like I said, I don't like long videos, so I try to keep mine to 20 to 25 minutes at the very most, if I can. Because I find that, I forgot that I had gone with this color. I find that I lose interest, you know, like I'm a bit like a squirrel. Get to the point. So I hope that you'll hang in there with me and see how this one also turns out. Beautifully enough. Okay, well, a little shading here, and call this one done. Well, actually, I did the other one a little bit darker, so this will have a nice little other look to it. Here we go. And I'm going to quickly cut it. Get the die real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. How well did I die cut it out? Oh, beautifully. Look at that. I can't lift that cut and emboss machine over here. It's a bit heavy. All right, we're going to add some dimensionals on here. Pop this guy up. And then we're going to call this 2 beautiful cards done that look like they took a lot of time and a lot of extra work, and they did not, as you saw. It went pretty quickly and easily and helped me use up some more of my pattern paper. The supply never endeth, because of course some beautiful new papers are coming out. I was actually playing with them on the weekend, and I'm excited for sharing some of those new patterns with you. Remember, on the left side, but when we flip it over it looks like it's on the right side, we put our liquid glue so it lies flat, and just the right hand side over here will have the dimensionals. And voila. I should do this as a monthly card class card. I think my going people would like it, my class going people. All right, I'm going to post the cards tonight and the video and all that good stuff with the supplies list so you can make these yourself. But yeah, hi Kathy. Just go ahead and find your favorite flower, because I know you have tons of them. I do. You must as well. And make it work. Pull it together with this quick and easy layout. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. Bye for now.